Hello, welcome to Nerds with Dice. This is Mark. I am the writer and current GM for the game of Night. So let's have basically the show is going to be running for a couple of hours for the next few weeks. There's already a character creation video available on YouTube that if you're interested, and I do suggest you check it out if you want to see how the characters are made, which is a bit different to normal. Or you can check out Nerds with Dice on Twitter. My name is Mark. And these are my absolutely lovely, incredible people who are playing noble knights in the game. So, everyone, would you like to tell me a little bit about yourselves? Why don't we start with Casper?
Hi, Osio. I'm Casper the MB Ghost. I wow, brain farted. You can find me Tuesdays and Thursdays on Tabletop Titties. But other than that, I'm a sapphic POC writer of sci-fi, fantasy, and horror who has a thing for werewolves. You might notice in everything you'll see me in ever.
Excellent. Abhilasha.
Hi, I'm Abhilasha. I am you can find me on at Dr. _Ybone on Twitter, where I post reviews of a lot of lesbian books. I write when I remember to write, and I play a lot of TTRPGs, especially with Nerds with Dice. Uh, nice to meet you. Wait, are we introducing characters yet? We haven't yet. Okay, all right.
Not quite, but we'll do that shortly. And Kendra.
Hi, I'm Kendra. You can find me around Twitch on some other channels popping up here and there. But if you want to follow me for where I am, Kendra is lost all over the internet, mostly Instagram. So yeah, that's me.
And I forgot to introduce that you could go onto my website, which is www.armoredgaming.com. You can check me out at Mark Barron one on X, or Armored Gaming, or Mark Barron on Facebook. And because I'm from the distant past, I do have a Facebook account. So, talking about the distant past, or at least a fantasy of the distant past, Knight is a game about playing Arthurian style knights in the genre known as romantic chivalry. Chivalry meaning horsemanship, and romantic being romantic. So the everyone here, we've made our characters, and we've already had a little bit of an adventure. And so I'm going to cut a little bit of, do a little bit of a recap then on the last episode of Night. Before we do that, we should definitely create a little title sequence for our game as Night shines up on the screen. What are the scenes that your characters are shown in on our introduction sequence of Night? Now that we've met them, now that we know a little bit of what they're like, what do we see? How do we see your character in that little intro bit? So let's start with Casper.
Wait, is this like an anime intro section, or is it
That's a
like what
question.
kind
Do
of
you guys
genre are
want
we
this to
doing?
be? Well, I was thinking live action, but you know what? If we want to be anime, we can be anime. Your choice. What do you guys reckon? Thumbs up for anime. Thumbs
Like, because I
down
can do
for
Highlander too. Like,
oh,
whatever works.
Highlander is great. I love Highlander. So anime, yes. Kendra,
Okay.
we could do anime. There's you can all be
All right.
fishy
Well,
knights.
so emerging from the like foggy woods of our map, I forgot what the Forgotten Forest.
Avalon. Avalon
Yeah,
is our
but
land.
on Avalon there is the foggy marsh woods that is the Forgotten Forest, and emerging from that um is a hooded black knight with a shield that has a blue full moon coming out, and as they uh as they come into view, like a full moon shines on them, as and they like raise their hood, and you see Sir Tiernan,
Nice.
my
Played by
played by me. And luckily he looks a lot like me. Short king with short hair that's kind of curly. Short and stocky, wielding a very intricately carved longbow.
Oh, wonderful. I love that. All right. Abhilasha, why don't you tell us how Sir Lamorak is introduced in our title sequence?
Sir Lamorak is I think he would be shrouded or at least semi shrouded in a sea of sparks as a middle higher, as a sort of mid height, I would say, around 5'9", 5'10" person with short and cropped hair, cropped straight hair, uh, and sharp brown eyes. Kind of hammers away at a sword. Uh, he, he is a built person. He is he his body, he has a broad bulky body with muscles that clearly look that they've been worked and hewn well in both sword fighting and in metalsmithing and alchemy. And just you'll just also see his uh, his hands. You'll see like black. You'll see like black smudge on them, and with striations of like various chemicals that have splashed and colored his skin a little bit. His colored his brown skin a little bit.
Nice. Do we see you in a smithy or do we see you in a workshop? In
Uh,
like in a laboratory type of thing?
you see him in a laboratory.
Nice. And Kendra, tell us about is it Dame or Night? Night Deirdre.
Night Deirdre.
How do
Yeah.
we see Night Deirdre?
So picture this: battlefield, bodies. Somebody gallops up, beautiful giant white horse. The sun just rises past their shoulder as they take off their
Music
helmet.
reaches a crescendo.
Yeah.
Bum, bum,
Whoa!
bum.
A flag is flying in the back of a white banner with a yellow sun as Night Deirdre, she takes off her helmet and with her bright eyes just gives a wink to the camera. That's me.
I love
Accurate.
it.
You
I
got
love
the
it.
goth kid, the nerd, and then the popular one. And it's like, okay,
The popular kid.
this is where
Yeah,
we're
I
at.
love it. I love it.
We're the
I think we're going to
Breakfast
have a
Club
few
of
more.
medieval times.
Mhm, mhm.
I think we're going to have a few more scenes just in our introductions. You know, we've
Okay.
obviously got directed by Mark Barron, you know, based on Welsh mythology and the tales of King Arthur, but not really. And then we've got some scenes of some battles and a horn being blown, and then we've got some court scenes, and we've got like hands being held and like you know and eyes locking between two individuals. Casper, who is this pretty person who giggles and holds her hand up while she looks at the Dark Knight? Not Batman. Who is
Uh,
this pretty person?
sure. Okay.
What,
uh,
but we don't know who she is yet. But this is just a character that we see who's like looking at it with a ooh.
okay. Yeah. So this would,
Him, her, I don't know. You tell me.
yeah, this would be probably a courtier who like um Sir Tyrion just kind of rides past without making any contact. Like, you know how oh, I don't want to say that. Oh well, I said it. Like Gaston is riding into town and you get the like pretty girls like
That's the
it's like
one.
it's like that except for you like how girls fawn over the like black cat guy of school. It's just like
Bad boy. The bad
he's the
boy. Yeah.
he's the bad. It's like it's not. Oh, he's the bad one, but he's so cute. It's like, but he'll rob you blind. Like I can fix him. It's
Nice.
fine. And these are all quotes as they're going as he's riding past, not paying attention.
Nice. Abhilasha, why don't we? There's a little. There's a scene where you are walking in court. What are the people around you doing? Sir Lamarak. Sir Lamarak is in court. What are the people around you doing? This is just like a quick 2-second thing, like in our intro sequence.
So Lamorak here has a very genial smile plastered all over him. He's clearly he's in his best doublet and best clothes. and is currently trying to gain the he's very clearly preening a little bit, like he's trying to gain the eye and appreciation of the courtiers around him, while he very tightly clutches his fingers to hide the smudges of his true passion.
Wonderful. And Dame Deirdre, there is a quaint village scene. Where is Dame Deirdre in this quaint village scene?
Ooh, okay. In a quaint village. After
Grassroots.
yeah, she's probably in the stables just admiring her horse and brushing him for like, she has to brush him 373 times a day otherwise he's really grumpy. So she's just
Mhm.
hanging out in there. And I imagine there are women in there who are kind of or like yeah, men and women who are like, "Ooh, wow, look at that knight." And like um, you know, Knight Deidre, she's completely oblivious to this. She doesn't know. All she has is focus for her horse.
I love you. And then we have a final. I think we have a final scene of the three of you riding together as night comes up, and then we fade to black, and then we come in the last episode of Night. Um, in the last episode of Night, we saw the three of you hunting together, chasing a white stag, coming into a clearing in the woods with a great dead lioness. And then there was the scene, the memory of the past of each of you. Uh, each of you have being knighted, and then a tiny lioness cub leaping into your hands, and the sound of a great roar and light. And when you last blinked your eyes, you had come out of the forest. You had defeated those shadowy wolves that were attacking the tiny lioness cub. And even though this tiny, fragile thing was briefly in Saturnian's hands, it has now disappeared, but you still feel it fragile and attacked on all corners. Each of you have received the trait touched by the lioness. And as you come out of the forest, you see your liege ladies thief, who you have all gone hunting for this Grailmas Eve. And while you have not been successful in your hunt, for you were taken away into a different into the other world temporarily, what you do see heading back to the keep itself, with their banners high, they're wearing their armor is a banner of knights. So. Uh, about 10 of them, plus an entourage of a bunch of other people, with a great black wolf as their standard. What do you do from here as the three of you have just gone to the other world and then returned back into this world? What has been said to you? What prophecy was last given? Well, I'm going to set the scene as the three of you blink your eyes and walk out of the through the shadows and the mists of the other world and into the light of your liege lady's fief. Her wooden manor is up on a man-made hill called a motte. There's a wooden wall around the outside, and her sort of little keep and stuff are at the top of that big hill. And next to that area, there is a significant town, maybe even 1,000 people next to it, with wood houses. And because it is Grailmas, and then there is a light dusting of snow all over those thatched buildings, and the light flickering through the clouds here is dim. There is a shadow over this land here. Do you want to do anything, or shall we move forward in time? Do you want to speak to each other, perhaps?
I would like to confirm with the other knights because when we were when we met with the the High Queen, it was singular, right? We weren't all in the room together. There were separate scenes. So
Correct.
I would like to confer with the other knights of like, hey, crazy thing happened to me in there, the High Queen. Did you guys what happened with you?
Oh, nothing.
Oh, okay.
No, but like, so Sertunian, he like looks over, and like has does this like customary thing when looking at you, um, since you have a giant like sun, and he just loves playing into it. He like winces every time he looks at you, and then just like blinks it like he's staring into the sun. Uh, and is like, "No, nothing." Um, yeah, no. Uh, it was that there was a lion cub that I seem to have misplaced, but um, nothing with the queen.
Oh, so the High Queen only visited me. That's really cool. All right, that must mean something.
To be fair, everyone had a vision of the High Queen in their knighting.
Yeah, no, like Zernon's
You
like,
just didn't. You just didn't admit it.
Yeah.
Okay. So Lamarak, do you wish to say anything at this point,
Uh,
or shall we move on?
um, I'm assuming that we all saw what gave us comfort and courage in our most proud moment. I mean, yes, I saw the Lion Cup too, but nothing else of note. I mean, what else could there be?
I mean, like, I just remembered my knighting, if that's what you mean. It wasn't like anything special. It was a ceremony that we all had. He does, he points this directly at Deirdre. It's like a ceremony we all had, us being equal knights and all.
Oh yeah, no, of course, of course. You're so right. I mean, mine was, kind of eh, beautifully set and everything. But yeah, sure. Like we all equally.
Wonderful. So each of you remembered
Did
the old High
everyone
Queen.
Lamorak kind of hesitates and kind of just gives Tiernan and Deirdre a little bit of a side eye, and is like, how long did the vision and the knighting occur for the two of you?
Long enough for me to lose my lion cub.
Yeah, long enough for, her to for me to swear my fealty to her. So
I'm sorry,
huh?
you swore fealty to a different ruler?
No, it's like our High Queen, the one
The
who
High
may
Queen who died two
rest her
years ago.
soul. Yeah.
She died 2 years ago, betrayed by the current king, Bycourt, known as the Betrayer, though not to his face. From here, uh, I'm just going to.
Lamrak is going to keep that information just in his back pocket and is going to continue to just walk forward humming a tune.
Mhm. The three of you, having been given this strange vision by the other world, you have heard of stories of such things, knights given quests and traveling into the other world and back again. But nonetheless, the three of you trot on your glorious chargers. You're wearing your armor and you have your weapons and you have your beautiful horses with you. Deirdre, your horse is huge and white and slightly mad. So Lamarak, what color? You have a brownish horse, don't you? A roan horse.
It's a dark
Saturnian
brown chestnut with white mane.
with a white mane, and
Yeah.
Saturnian, you have a great black horse.
Yes.
Excellent. I remember well. The three of you ride together, and just for a moment, we see a scene of the sun beginning to shine behind you, the light as you travel up to your liege lady's castle. By the time you get there, the rest of the knights and the hunt have already returned. There are knights, many of their retainers and so on have set up camp outside the main castle itself, or have gone down into the town. But the knights themselves stay with the Countess Ennifin and her wife Marilyn. You travel inside. You are welcome because you have been invited here. You are one of her knights, one of her main retainers. And as you travel up that man-made hill, fairly steep, and get to the flat spot at the top where the keep has been built, you enter the outer walls which are made of wood, and the main stone keep itself. And there is and on the inside you see the hallmarks of civilization: a castle smithy with the latest of technology, such as a bellows, um, and a number of other. And here you see steel swords being made, unusual. And it's from places like these that your armor and weapons are even available at all. You head inside the keep, and because by the time that you have got here, those wolf knights have already gone up to the keep in peace, and been allowed entry. And when you go inside, everyone has set up the main tables in the main hall itself. For you would sleep in the main hall. There are not different chambers or anything like that, but the big tables have been set up for Grailmas Eve, in the evening. You are welcomed by the countess's people, and she sits at one of the old lady with her green dress, her hair covered in an old in a veil that sort of like comes low over her head. You see the wrinkles, and the dark eyes of a woman in her 60s who has wielded power for decades. She nods to you graciously, but speaks to you not, as you enter. And all around you, the preparations for this evening's feast are going on. In the center of this great hall, you see a knee-high sort of brick wall, and on the inside is the fire pit, which people are feeding with wood. And on the edges of that fire pit, right in the center of the hall, there are the workers, the servants who are cooking food of all sorts of different types, and rotating over the pit are a number of wild boar and such, getting ready for the evening's feast. My question to you, three knights, is this: is there anything you wish to do at this point before we move on with time to the feast itself? You see the wolf knights have taken up residence in one corner. They are speaking mainly to themselves, except for one knight, who's standing before the Countess Enifin, and speaking to her in low tones. He is dressed in fine clothes. He wears a sword at his belt and spurs on his heels, much as you do, but he is not wearing any armor, at least not currently. Is there
You
anything
said this is during the day, right?
This is in the late afternoon, just before the feast will begin in an hour or two.
As we uh come out into the sun, um, like Sir Tiernan is gonna pull out um like really crude kind of crooked glasses that have a darker tint to help him keep his night vision. He works
Nice.
he works better at night. He is not a daytime
Excellent.
boy.
Excellent. Um, and what of yourself, Deirdre and Sir Lamorak? What do you do? What is your night up to, before the Grailmas Eve feast, the largest, where all of the winter stocks, the ones that would go off, um, are consumed in the last main feast of winter, before everyone returns home for a number of weeks and eats those dried things that will get them through those last few weeks of winter.
So Night Deirdre, she would probably go compare get details of the hunt, not like in a witty way, not in a smarts way, but more of like, hey, that was a really nice hunt. What did you guys catch? Like, not to get information like willingly, but she's trying to make small talk and drink maybe some ale and just, buddy up
People are
to
definitely starting to drink and
yeah.
starting to chat as the knights there. All of the different knights are sitting at the different tables. So Deirdre, oh, is it Night Deirdre? It's Night Deirdre. So you just come in and join at the table. Now, all of the
Yeah.
other knights in the Countess Enifin's hall, do they welcome you? Are you on neutral terms, or are they the sort of people who would bounce chests on each other and go oos oos as the moment that you come in the door?
Definitely bouncing chest, oosh oosh. That's her vibe. She's just like a
They
frat boy. I don't know, a frat woman.
Yep, yep, yep.
Yeah.
One of the knights there sort of like mimes throwing a punch at you, and there's ducking, and they pretend to like go at it, and then like
Yeah.
And then someone gives you someone gives you an ale, and sorry, wine. They give you wine because you're refined,
Of course.
and they've got a giant tankard of wine, and then they chug it, because they're refined. um, as you're going through, and they start telling stories like, no shit, there I was, and there was a boar facing me, and I had only a broken knife, and that sort of stuff. So, what outrageous
Nice.
tale do you tell about the hunt? Everyone knows these are
Um,
all lies.
yeah, I think Night Deirdre, she's not the brightest, so I think she tells the entire truth. She tells the story about the wolves and the and the cubs, but everybody's telling tall tales, so probably no one's gonna believe her
Mhm.
anyways. But she's like, "Oh my god, you guys will never believe what I freaking saw out there," and she just starts telling them all about
Oh, great. That's
it.
wonderful. I absolutely love that. As you're doing so, the Countess Enifin watches you with her piercing eyes, continuing to embroider as she does so. Um, and she is currently sitting alone. You don't know where her wife Marilyn currently is. The old sorceress is a bit of a weird character anyway. So if she isn't here, what does it? What does it even matter? She can probably turn into a bird or something. She's weird. Anyway. So Lamarak, when you enter this early feast stage where people are, and you hear the noise of the knights as they're jostling around, you see your companion, Dame Deirdre, as she sort of gets in with all the frat boy knights, and Sir Turnian, um, sort of like trying to make sure that their eyes stay focused for night. What do you do, Sir Lamarak?
So Sir Lamorak currently has two objectives. Now, this is going to be a socializing party, and there are going to be a lot of people apart from knights, which is what Sir Lamorak is more interested in
Mhm.
because he's trying to make more connections at court, maybe, and one of his objectives is to find a suitable wife. So he is currently he's gone, he's like sort of changed into his most like fashionable outfit, the one that his sister picked out for him when he had come here. And the second objective is he needs as much gossip and info on the knights because he doesn't turn his back on any potential rivals. And he kind of sends his squire duke to hang out with the other squires, kind of get to talking to them. If they swap notes or share their grousings about the night or whatever's up with them, that's even better. But his thing right now is he's going to stay away from the frat fraternity, and is going to kind of just
It's not all men. It's not all men. They're just the oosh oosh type of people.
oh, Sir Lamorak is like Sir Lamorak is a nerdy kid who loved making things, and the sword fighting thing was a thing in the way parents who want high achieving children put on him, and he had to do it
Mhm.
because he was the sole heir. So he likes that stuff, but also at the same time he's not the he can't understand that sort of jostling, that whole kind, that vibe. And also he finds a lot of them extremely dull.
Mhm. Yep, fair enough. Shall we move forward in time
Oh,
for
I
Saturnian?
yeah, like me putting on my glasses, and making like kind of a big show of it to like play into the rumors of like, okay, no, that's a night creature. What the heck? What are they doing? Why are they here? It's kind of like a signal. Not even kind of. It is a signal for my squire Rowan, um, to like pretty much work on their stealth moves. Because I would like Rowan to go uh and figure out why they're talking in hushed tones, without being obvious about it. Like,
Mhm.
She's like, dude, just blend it. Like it's basically, oh, I'm gonna blend in and be a surfer now. It was
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
no one noticed me. I'm a 13-year-old boy.
Well, your squires would normally serve you at table and sort of pour your drinks and all the rest of that sort of stuff. So,
Yeah,
but if you
well,
tell them,
we'll
if you send them off
squire.
on other things, that's fine.
Yeah, he's gonna squire for someone else. It's like, this is my audition.
Mhm.
I just want to know
Mhm.
stuff. He's gonna
I
be the
love it.
spy. Like, not me. I'm just the show.
Um, a few hours passed, and the feast begins in earnest. There are the knights have all began to come in, and they sit nearest the high table. So the high table sort of sits right up at the end of the room. There are braziers behind all of the tables to sort of keep the heat going. There is a level of smoke through the room, and a number of small lap animals and things like that are running around. There are some dogs and cats and that sort of stuff wandering around over on the floor. This hall is the biggest one that you've probably ever seen, unless you've been to the Great Hall of Camelin itself. But but in between there are mixed dishes that start coming out. I have a table of feast things. So would you like some medieval food that gets served? There's also no order of food. Like just dessert gets served first, and then seconds, and then whatever you know. So the
Heck yeah.
first thing that you get given is parsnip stew. Love a good bit of parsnip stew. Turn on the table there, and you mix that in with some mixed fruit that has covered in a layer of sugar that has been come through. Just a whole bunch of different mixed fruit that's been boiled, like apples and stuff like that. Probably no oranges. Um, and then you have some what was that, beef, and the main thing, and then you have the beef stew that comes out sort of last of all, and finally everybody gets sort of given cuts of the meat of the wild boar that has been going out. And through all this time, from time to time, each of you have heard something. Um, from upstairs in the ladies' chambers, the countess's chambers upstairs. Occasionally, you hear just the cry of a small infant. This isn't unusual. There are many infants, most of them down here at the feast. Some of them with breastfeeding mothers and the rest of that sort of stuff, who are being held or looked after. There are toddlers wandering around on the edges and that sort of stuff. But each of you hear distinctly the piercing call of an infant from upstairs. Um, there is a great dance, and the dance that you do here is called a saltarello. This is a smooth and graceful jumping and spinning dance that is paired with a partner and requires a good amount of athleticism. It wants to see if they can show themselves off to all of the fine ladies or slash gents slash non-binary people that they wish to get married to. Who's gonna
Count,
strut their
count.
stuff and show a fine bit of thigh
Same.
muscle as you're literally leaping. So you're sort of like leaping and spinning on the spot with other people, and that like sort of like leg kicks and stuff like that as you go in.
I will
And
also
sometimes your arms are doing these sorts of jobs as you're jumping, right? So
I will
um,
also join Sir Lamerick on the dance floor, but mostly as a challenge to Knight Deirdre.
how do you challenge Night Deirdre?
uh it's a silent challenge. I'm gonna like lock eyes with them and then walk on the dance floor like whoop.
Mm.
I mean,
So
Deirdre
Deirdre,
definitely
Night Deirdre,
sloshed. Yep, with
yeah.
she just throws back the rest of her wine, and she's taken up that challenge. So,
Cool. So the two of you are dancing together. Um,
hmm
okay,
Dance
so
challenge.
Sir Lamorak.
Sir Lamorak
So,
is extremely confused as to what is the vibe here with Sir Turnian and Deirdre, but is also just happy to have familiar faces at the dance because it means that like he doesn't necessarily know if they are like friends, but he's just happy like, oh, I can trust these people are cool, and I don't have to be like stiff the entire time, and he kind of lets loose a little bit, just just getting to dance with enjoyment rather than Mr. Darcy in Pride and Prejudice 2003.
Very specific. The Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is have a competition. This is a prowess dance showing your smooth athleticism and graceful jumping athleticism. Um, the way to have to see who is better will be to roll a check. Whoever succeeds but rolls highest on the dice at this prowess check is the one who is the superior dancer. So the two of you have a little dance battle as you are sort of like leaping, and who does it, who skips a step first. Um, and then we're going to get on to whether Sir Lamorak has impressed the, is it ladies or gents of the court? Because in Avalon, you may marry whoever you wish, or non-binary
Ladies.
ladies. Okay, so
Ladies and non-binary people, because
mhm.
Sir
Are you
Lamorak
looking for
is Sir
are you looking
in
for
the most
someone
butch
who
way
is
possible.
biologically are you looking for someone who is biologically female so they will have kids?
Hmm. Now that's an interesting call.
I'll come back to
I'm
you.
going. Yeah, I'm going to say yes. But like this, that's him at his most like practical, most cold-blooded sense of I need someone AFAB to have picked so that
Excellent.
we can
I love it.
continue the life.
You've got this problem, right? Okay, so first let's go and do our dance battle. D20 prowess checks, and the highest roll on the dice, which is equal or under prowess, will win. What do we go?
I got a 2. My prowess is 10.
I got a
So,
2. My prowess is 10.
oh, you can't. This dance battle gets intense. I think what happens here is all of the other dancers stop, right? And people make way as the two of you are like, whoa.
Oh
You
my
guys are
It's
kicking feet with each other.
Yeah.
Your eyes are, you're going backwards and forwards. They're like everyone's clapping along as the harpist is like going crazy. Um, the harvest is shredding, and there's a bump, 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 that consistent drum beat to keep everyone going, and there's like cheers start going as the two of you are coming through. What do you want to do from here? The dance. These sorts of
um
dances keep on going until the musicians basically die of fatigue. So the
um
um, so
Mark,
at the
just
point that you wish, you may bow and say the dance is finished, or you may continue.
Hmm.
Do you respect the other person, or do you keep dancing to dance them to death? No, I'm just kidding.
I think Nate Deirdre, this was kind of like a fun challenge to her. It wasn't like a serious, like if this was combat, she would go till she dropped. But this, she's got a buzz. She's loving life. This is just funsy for her. So I think she would be the first one to bow. And then seeing that everyone else isn't dancing, she would just link arms with the first person in the crowd and start getting people back to dancing again.
Oh, Saturnian,
Yes.
how do you respond?
I see
Is your
that
bow?
as a I see that as a victory over my enemy, and I'm gonna bow. I'm gonna go get me my seat. I'm gonna go to my seat, get me my wine, and like sip on that
Nice,
and feel pretty happy. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm
I'll
good.
let you have this one.
nice,
I'll let you have this
nice.
one.
Yeah, the rest of the night,
All
I'm
right, the
good.
dancers continue on. Sir Lamarak, I need you to roll me a luck die. A luck die is a d6, with one being
oh,
terrible luck, six
sorry,
being.
Mark. I don't think I mentioned my role, and I swear to God, I think this is we're starting off on a great note. I got a nat 20
Ooh.
and and plus 10 on my prowess, so that's a 30.
Oh,
But
no,
I'll
no. So
roll a
what
luck
you
check.
want to do is you want to equal or roll under.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yes.
Shit. This is going
Oh
to be bad.
no!
So I think you see a beautiful non-binary person. They are dancing. They are open to your sort of ideas. You see their parents are in the crowd smiling along. You see there's sort of like chatter between their parents and people are this person's name. Let's call them Kiaran. So Lady Karen is dancing with you for a moment, and then there's just a pause, and Lady Karen's father sort of comes up to you, Sir Lamorak, and says, "Sir Lamorak, I see you are as yet unwed. My daughter is quite fond of you, as you can see, and your dancing shows your incredible abilities, no doubt, not just with your mind, but with your blade in your heart. I see bravery and prowess. Come." And he says, I wish to speak with you." And at that point, something terrible, awful goes on about this potential alliance between you and the fiefdom right next to yours. They're great. They've got, she's got huge tracts of land. It's everything that you could want. The What happens? You tell me, because you flubbed it so hard. So hard. Do you get back onto the dance floor? What happens? You tell me. Everything is going perfect, and then
Um,
Fire needs to be
just as that happened, just as the Lord he comes to talk to Sir Lamorak, just at that second, there's a scuffle at the squires near the squires, and Sir Lamorak turns, and it's Duke, who is screaming, his face sort of splattered with food, is screaming bloody murder at one of the other knights, screaming
at a knight or at a
arsenic.
squire?
No, the he's fighting squire that's dressed in the clothes of that house, of the house of the Lord, screaming at him, "I will, the arsenic will pickle your intestines. You will not, you will know suffering before this night is done." And I've just, and I'm just like looking horrified, and I kind of sprint to Duke to kind of like get him away from this other squire.
Lady
Scream.
Kieran um, races over with you. She takes who you see is her younger brother and quickly sort of drags him away. She looks to you, Sir Lamorak, and she says, "You would teach how your squires to use poison?" The
Uh,
And she starts
no,
dragging
no,
away, like
I,
horror in her
I,
eyes.
no, no, that he likes poisons, and Sir Lamrak is just going to kind of like just put Duke over his shoulders, and is just going to walk out of the hall like, "Nope, I'm not doing this." Just walking out of the hall, and has like a very firm grip on him as Duke kind of like struggles against him, and
You
like
see
kind of,
Lady Kieran holding her younger brother. You see the father glaring daggers at you as you walk away. I love it. Okay. The next thing
"This is the
that we
worst."
see is a game. The Countess Ennifin stands slowly. She has a sort of like a stick. She stands and she says, "Good nights. I have a challenge for each of you. We shall do, I think, for the amusement of all, flighting, which it's a tradition of boasts, counter boasts, and insults that you must do in verse with each other. So this is kind of rap battling medieval style, and and the loser is the one whose verse doesn't scan properly. Witnesses agree their boasts sound dumb, or are unable to reply because they choke. Right. So the and many and the knights begin standing up, and "For thou, sir, I see are a villain. Even though I feel I am chilling." And they keep going on. Really. Except it is in fact sort of iambic pentameter and not in modern rap parlance. But you get the idea. The So, who wants to effectively butt at this? One of
Oh,
the head of the Wolf Knights stands up and says, "I shall engage in this game of flighting." He says, "Does any wish to challenge me?
Oh,
You can challenge
Sir
each other.
Tiernan.
You can."
Sir Tiernan hops up with as soon as he stands up. I was like, "So who challenged me?" I.
All right, all right. Um, and so the two of you begin. This is a wit contest to see
Uh-huh.
whether you are able to go through here.
Random question. If my roll meets my
Good.
I'm good? Sweet. I got a
You're good.
12. My wit is 12.
Oh, nice. So, in this case, the head of the Wolf Knights, um, whose name is whoop, I lost him. Byron. Um, Byron. So Byron, the two of you start trading some epic insults with each other about your honor and the things you've done and the glorious boasts and you know the quality of their rhyme and the rest of that sort of stuff. Um, so roll me an effect die. Have you got any benefits to your effect die in any way here, Saturnian?
What time is it?
It
Is it
is
nighttime?
nighttime. Yes,
Sweet.
it surely is. Are you going to say there's a window, like the wooden shutters are open on one of the small windows, and the moonlight
Yes.
is shining through on you?
Yes.
Beautiful. So Rhiannon, so the goddess Rhiannon will smile on you. How does she give you? Tell me how she gives you inspiration.
As I'm gonna say while we're doing our epic battles or whatever, and it comes to like me hitting my last rhyme or like coming to my point, I look up, and just as I look up, the clouds clear, and there's just
Mhm.
moonlight streaming down on me, and I'm like, I
Mhm.
see you, my lady. And then like I deal the sickest medieval rhyme.
Burn. There is.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. No worries. So we have an AN. So I'm going to net you a. So normally flighting, you'd be on something like a D6. So your patron spirit would just inspired you to go up to a D8. So Sir Byron has an AN of 5. So roll yourself a D8 and see whether you can defeat him in one turn.
I got an 8.
Oh, he's done for. Everybody laughs. Everybody laughs, and you just see, and he's just like, but you see, and then everyone's just like, ooh, and you see his face turn red from your epic burns, and he sits down from there. You just remember that you have done that. And in front of everybody, everybody is like cheering and clapping Saturnian for such an epic role as you go through. Does anyone else wish to challenge to flighting? It also involves it also involves face pulling, but there you go, as in like that stuff.
Any other
Um,
challengers?
My brain's not in a
Uh,
strong suit. I noticed it this one out. I'm just drinking. You know what? Even to that sick insult you dropped, even Night Deirdre, she gives you a little clap. So she's just having a grand time
Oh
just watching.
yeah, how much do you notice that,
Sun,
Saturnian?
I'm gonna like I'm gonna notice more that Night Deirdre doesn't come to challenge me, and like has noted, like I'll take that as another win, and like without even battling them, I
Oh
have
my gosh.
dominated in this. It's like, and like I'm.
one-sided.
Yeah, it's so one-sided. Deirdre doesn't even know this is beef. She's just having a great time.
Look.
Sir Lamorak. Sir
Um,
Lamorak, are
so
you
I have come back from like scolding Duke. Honestly, he couldn't scold him all that much because he really does. He's very affectionate of this hostage kid that he essentially has as a squire. But he's very affectionate, and he kind of like is like his advice is like, can you not talk about poisons when you are in public? Just don't talk about
uh,
poisons. Just threaten to stab him next time, please.
I'm going to add
And
something here. just before you keep going, and I love that, by the way. So you have 8 endurance points, right? So I've just rolled a 4 on my d6, and this is the shame that you have experienced from this. And if you ever lose all of your endurance in this feast, you must quit this feast in shame.
Ooh, okay. So Lamrak has come back and is now trying to regain some of the reputation that he had lost uh, in that huge in that scuffle,
Mhm.
and is going to challenge for a poetry battle, and he's going to use one of the poems that he and his father had written. He and his father had written. Uh, Essentially, he's going to say the poetry battle this time will be about like the life we lead, the nightly life. The
I love it. Are
so
you
yeah,
challenging the current champion, Saturnian?
yes.
Oh, oh, oh. This is a wit battle. So in this case, you both roll a d20. And again, equal or under, but the one who
Be nice to me.
rolls highest on the dice to wit is the succeeds. If you
Please,
roll
God, let
over,
it
you
not be
fail.
a nat 20. I got a 7,
I got an
and
8.
my wit.
Oh,
Mm,
oh,
damn
oh.
it! And my wit is a 12. My
My
wit
wit
is a
is also a
Okay.
12, and
12.
I got a 7.
Okay. So Saturnian, Sir Lamorak has challenged you with a poem about living a good life and the beauty of nature and things like that. How much do you want to burn Sir Lamorak here, or are you just going to be more, I'm going to win this because you've won,
See,
but how much are you going to hurt Sir Lamorak? That's your choice.
no, see, for like I take his poem and then I expand on it about how our lives are not our own and it's just about servitude. So it's not so much like it's like it's more of a duet, but it's like a versus battle, but like I won by like a hair.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like I didn't win over the whole crowd. Sir
Yeah.
Lamorak had like everyone was like, "Yes, beautiful, amazing."
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
like, I'm just this
Everyone's
much
just
better.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So nothing further from there. Sir Lamrak, you lose one more point of endurance.
Sorry.
That's fine. Only one because Saturnian didn't try to drive home that dagger or anything like that. While he did with Sir Byron, the Wolf Knight. And the third part of the feast, music and entertainment as everyone is feasting and drinking along. Um, at this point, however, the night has. I mean, everyone's drinking, so the night has become rowdy. There are sort of dudes who've like taken their shirts off and are like wrestling, sort of next to the like, and someone's like pushed over a brazier, and everyone's like, "What are you doing?" And because there's mats of straw, sort of all over the floor. And like, and then the wrestling guys is like, "Whoa, whatever." And then there's other guys who like they've cleared a side, they put up a little target, and they're just like throwing spears, and then like drinking, and then like seeing who's most accurate on the inside of the hall. So the night started to go a little bit crazy, and so how do you guys involve when this night starts getting full on? But first, I want everyone who to make a wit check for me.
Please be nice to me. Okay.
I got a 2 and my wit is 8.
Mhm.
I got a 10 and
Success.
my
So
wit is 12.
you're good,
I got
and
a I got a 2, and my wit is 12.
great. No one suffers any consequence, so you all notice this. The Wolf Knights are pretending to drink. They are not actually drinking. There are 10 of them. They have been sitting, they're pretending to be drunk, but they are not. Anyway, the night has continued on. And things are getting wild. What wild game do you involve yourself in as the night goes on? The other thing is people are starting to disappear outside or up into the chambers or to find little shadowy places to, canoodle. And people's husbands and wives and so on are a little bit, you know, maybe they're not being completely faithful to their marriage vows. So and there's sidelong glances and fingers intertwined on bench seats, and sort of like little shifting glances about whether they do things, and then people will like leave the hall separately, sort of thing, that sort of stuff. How what sort of wild stuff do you guys get up to?
I'm
Oh, sorry, good.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I'm kind of concerned that the Wolf Knights are pretending not to be drunk. So I think, listen, I'm not witty enough to put together a master plan. So my plan is I go straight over to the table and whatever like the equivalent of like an Arthurian like drinking game, I am pulling them in. I'm getting them drunk is my goal. So something I'm really good at
Nice.
that so maybe like something with strength. I'm like we freaking arm wrestle and whoever loses has got to take a shot like kind of vibes like my goal is to get them drunk.
Byron smiles and says, "Of course," he says, "a mighty knight such as you, Knight Deirdre, I shall take on thy challenge, and you shall see the might of knights of Bycourt's realm." And he puts his elbow on the table and he's ready to go. So you're ready. He eyes you off as you go through, and they have like a big jug of wine next to it that you both have to do. He glares you down. He doesn't seem particularly physically huge or anything like that.
Mhm.
He's a warrior, so he's
Right.
clearly tough, but he's not like a huge guy or anything like that. But nonetheless, this is a challenge of raw strength. So make your vigor check, please.
Okay. And I'm trying to think if I can add anything to this. Well, I got a 9 on the die. My vigor is 12. But
No
let's see.
consequence.
Nice. My
Uh,
spirit is travel and lost things.
and not exactly.
That
If there's
probably doesn't
anything
help.
else,
All right.
that's okay.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything else. Dang.
So he drinks, and everyone cheers. So do you want to get all of them drunk? The rest of them are just like, yeah.
I am like gonna be obnoxious about it. I'd be like, no, that's man, I was doing that when I was 12 years old, and like I'm pushing them, like I just take the cup and like pour, like I'm being obnoxious about making them drink, like and just like egging them on.
All right. Well, that sounds like a wit check to see if you can get away with that without having
Oh
further
no, okay.
issues.
Okay, I'm doing pretty good tonight. I get a 4 and my wit is 8.
Nice. So you just need to tell me whether you get a consequence or not, mainly. So they acquiesce, and you see all of them starting to drink on. So I'm just going to take a note that they are all mildly drunk now because of war.
I'm probably
Um,
also getting very drunk. That's what I'm saying. I'm not a strategist. Like, I'm also getting sloshed, but my goal is to get them very sloshed too.
Nice. What wild thing do you get up to, Sertanian?
Um, well, I am watching Deirdre do these things, and like at this point, I've put my like no, yeah, it's nighttime now, so like I put my glasses away, um, and it helps fuel the rumors that I'm like a shadow creature. It's fine, I love it. But at this point, like instead of my glasses, I'm like I get myself blindfolded and I want to start shooting arrows off of like apples off of people's or fruit off of people's heads.
Oh, nice. Roll a prowess to see how well you go.
Okay. I will be using my bow, which is named Rhiannon's gift. So
That's a good bow.
hopefully that helps. Oh, natural one, baby.
Oh, blindfolded, you shoot an apple off your squire's head, and your squire is just like, again, Just please stop, mistress. Sir, please stop, sir. Um, and finally, Sir Lamarak, what do you get up to when the night gets wild?
So Lamorak kind of is actually wanted to maybe hang out with Turnian, but it turns out Turnian is like on his own trip right now, doing
Oh,
all kinds of wild.
no, I'm like, my thing is only because I wanted to be armed if stuff goes down when the wolf guys. So that's why I'm just
Mhm.
doing practice shots at Rowan's head right
Okay.
now.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay, so
Nice.
Sir Lamrak is going to sit next to Saturnian, and he's kind of essentially what he's done is he's entertaining the children and the teenagers around with like fire tricks and like various like all his metal stuff, and he's kind of telling them about all the cool stuff that you can do in a smithy, and the especially the things you can do with fire. So he's like in his head he's like, kids like dangerous shit, fire is dangerous. I think I can you know what, let me try and impress them. So he's kind of
In the middle of a hall with straw floors, I'm going to set a bunch of fires.
he's he's
Love
he's
it.
he's kind of he's doing the fire breathing thing, and
Yep.
he's being as careful as he can of just like just enough, you know, not like again trying very hard not to set things on fire, but just trying to impress the kids and
I
telling
think you
them
should have
about
a check.
alchemy.
I think you should have a check, but I'll give you advantage, which means roll twice. Take the lower in our case. Take the preferred because you are an alchemist.
I got two fives. I'm so happy right
Nice.
now.
Everyone is impressed, and everyone's like, "Whoa!" And you know, you throw some chemical or something on there, and the fire goes green. Everyone's like, "Wow, magic!" And you know, all of that sort of stuff. So you know, all of the kids are just like wide-eyed and follow you around and that sort of stuff. Um, and then finally, the night ends. People start to go to sleep. Um, Everyone here has a chest of their with their stuff in it. It's been put up against the walls, and as people start going to sleep, they go to there are sort of pallets of straw brought out for you to or blankets and things that you lay on as the and you know it's a slow process. It's just like one person is like, well, I'm going to sleep, and bugger you all, and like puts their head down, and then gradually the night sort of like goes down. The countess has long since headed up to her rooms, and that the crying of that of
Oh no.
Oh,
Oh no,
I was like, the
mom!
crying of the what? The crying of the what?
Crying of the what?
Cliffhanger.
No!
We'll never know.
You shall never know. It was just crying,
Crying,
mysterious
the crying
crying.
of the lambs is what he was going to say.
It's crying of Night Deirdre after she's so hungover the next day.
I
But
think in this case, I would have suggested to like Sir Lamrak is still a little like intimidated in the sense of who is this person and why are they so loud with Deirdre?
Yeah.
But with Sir Tiernan, he would tell him that ask your squire to replace the wine in your cups with the water.
oh, I stopped drinking
Ooh.
as soon as I started shooting arrows at Rowan. I beat everybody, then I sobered up at the end of the party. Like I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
Sir Lamrak drank one drink as a courtesy, but is way too anxious to ever let himself get that out of control.
yeah. So only Sunshine McNighty Pants is drunk as a skunk right now.
Hey, what can I say? I
What?
know how to have a good time.
Hey. Love it. Uh I also love this one-sided beef that I've got going on. I don't know where it came from,
So
but
funny. It's my favorite thing, and I just love the fact that I think because it's not because my character is so dumb that they don't even know that you're beefing with me. They're just like, oh, they're just so friendly. They just love to hang out.
like, and I think I don't even know what Tiernan's justification. He's just like super competitive and is like, Lamorak seems cool.
Yeah.
You seem like a competitor. So it's just like, I'ma fight you.
Yeah, like Sir Tiernan has taken the sun and moon thing a little too literally.
Little too
Yes.
Like
literally, yeah.
medieval astronomy is really not working right now.
Oh, I love it. Welcome back.
I wanna um investigate what the crying was because that was really loud. It was obnoxiously loud crying, and it kind of like to carry over the din of the party, and then it stopped, and I was like, I gotta see what that was. Also, this is like I don't sleep at night. Kind of, this is my vibe. I am Batman. Uh, I am Sir Tiernan. Yeah, I am Sir Tiernan of Iden. Yes. Um, is the baby still fussy right now? Okay. Um, that's normal. Uh, I'm going to start like humming uh the fabled lullaby of that Rhiannon's three birds would sing. It's a lullaby I grew up with. And it's the ooh, there he is. It's the fabled song that they sing for people to go to sleep. I'm gonna start humming that to the child. Yeah, sure. You know what? I'll hold a baby. That's fine. I'm already killing it this evening. Let's go.
over her face, and she says, um, uh, "I did not expect things to be so difficult." She says, there is, Sir Knight, you have given me a moment's peace, and I thank you."
Uh, I I am like gently rocking the bib and um basically I'm just saying no thanks is necessary. Uh, every mother needs sleep.
As the baby is asleep, there's just like a few moments of quiet. Um, and after a while, this lady, whose name you do not know, who you have never seen before, holds her hands out for the child again.
Okay.
I, I,
I would ask as I hand over the child, and I would ask who might you be?
I'm sorry, Saturnian. It is best if you do not know. Um, at that, she turns and walks into the Countess's chambers, and closes the door behind her. The You are left there for a moment, and then you head down to the sounds of drunken snoring from the main hall itself. So Lamarak, during this time, are you the so everyone has started. Do you have any plans before, or are you going to head to sleep?
Sir Lamorak is a bit of a insomniac, so sleep comes very difficult to him, and today has not been the best of nights for him. His He has one main goal, and he's flubbed it again. Uh, and he makes sure that Duke is safe and sleeping well, just reassuring him that everything's fine, he'll handle it. And he sort of goes down from his rooms uh, into the not armory, into the smithy, where
Mhm.
all and he writes a letter to his deceased parents.
Beautiful. Sir Deirdre, sorry, Night Deirdre. Night Deirdre, just before you go to sleep, is there anything you wish to do?
Um, I think Night Deirdre would want to. Hmm. She would probably just want to take a walk in the cool air to kind of like sober up a tiny bit before sleep because it is still on her mind the suspicions of the wolf knights and why they weren't drinking. So her plan is to quite literally sleep with one eye open tonight, like just be a light
Hmm.
sleeper. So she would just
Hmm.
take a walk around the grounds in the cool air and kind of sober herself up a little bit and then go to sleep.
Okay. By the time Saturnian returns and you begin coming back to your bed, um, Night Deirdre, you have taken your walk and cleared your head. And so Lamarak, you have finished writing your letter. Everyone is asleep. The fires have dimmed low. You have laid down, perhaps on your pallets, unless you tell me otherwise. But what you see then, when everyone is asleep, is Sir Byron sitting up. You see him remove his boots, draw his dagger, and begin to wake the rest of his knights. They are not sleeping. He is not waking them. And you hear him in low sound saying, "It's time." What do you three do?
I'm back down with the rest of everybody, right?
Hmm.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna slip off my boots, grab my bow, and like move towards where like I want to cut off their path while he's busy waking up his
Hmm.
buddies.
So you move towards the where? What path do you want to cut to take?
Uh,
These steps up or the door out?
The countess. I want to
Mhm.
block their way to the countess.
Knight Deirdre, what is your plan from here as you start to see the wolf knights begin to stir and draw weapons?
Um, as I'm not a planner, I'm just gonna leap into action and just try to take
In
them
the
out
darkness.
in the
Yeah.
darkness.
hmm So you
Tackle
leap
them.
up.
I don't know. Yeah, leap up. Just
Are you going to tackle Sir Byron?
yes, I'm tackling him.
All right. And Sir Lamarak, what is your plan here?
Sorry. So Lavarak actually did intend. What he's going to do is he's going to provide support to Sir Tiernan,
Thank you.
and is going to take out his and is going to use his axe rather than his sword. He's going to hold his axe and kind of swing it, and just kind of stand there, like like one of those statues of a knight who's standing there with his sword. He's just going to stand there and look at Sir Tiernan like, I've got your back. And he's going to flank the knights just as Deirdre leaps into action, and Sir Lamorak is like, is just kind of just looks at Tiernan again, but this time it's just a look of what, just what the fuck. Just as a
I
okay,
think what
and kind just starts, yeah, next knight who swings at him, he's going to swing back.
in the darkness there is still the kitchen fire, like the big hearth fire, and its coals and things are still glowing. So there is shadowy, flickering light through the great hall that you just had the feast in. But even so, you see these knights begin to stir, begin to draw weapons, and start to head for the steps up to the countess's room. But even as they do so, Knight Deirdre, throwing herself across the room. With, how do you go? Let's. I think we're gonna have a halt because you're gonna Sir Turnian sneaking around to the edge. Sir Lamarak caught there with the axe ready, and Sir Deirdre. How do you go with this tackle? So roll me a check to see whether you get a consequence out of it.
Okay, all right.
Please get a
come on, come on,
consequence
come on,
out of
come on.
it.
No, no, do not curse that on me. I'm
Please.
so cool. I'm so cool. 7.
You
so no
deserve a consequence.
No, no, no.
Dang it!
No consequence. Okay, so there are 10 armed but not armored knights there, and so their AN is 20 overall. So, Sir Deirdre, please roll me an effect die to see how well you go here. And then we'll get to describe this round through.
Okay, I will say.
Can they get a bonus for my lost patient?
You just tell me what effect die you think is appropriate.
I do believe I have the element of surprise because it's like, so that's something.
So it's usually so it's a D6, and then like for every additional thing you
Okay.
go up the dice chain, like a D8 for this and a D10. But it's usually a quick thing. You don't need to worry too much about it. Be like, I reckon I go to this. I'm like, all right.
Okay.
So
I think a D8 just to add on to surprise. I feel like that's fair.
yeah, D8 for surprise.
Wait, oh, that's not a D8. Sorry, hold on. I was like 11. Wow, no, that's not right. Okay. 4.
4. Okay. Their AN is 20 and is now down to 16. Oh, I broke my pencil.
And I
So
would,
sorry, I broke
while
my
I
pencil.
tackle him, my goal is to, I guess, so there would be rounds. So I guess I'll do this in the next round. So just my first round, yes, tackling.
Yeah. So so you're going to go over. You've done that,
Mhm.
and Saturnian. You see all of the knights, and then you just see Deirdre just throw herself across the room. Is there a scream? Is there a battle cry?
Definitely a battle
Or is
cry.
there just a running and a oof?
No, you know what? And running in an oof for this scenario,
Yep.
she's gonna be a little bit sneaky. That's her
There's
being
just a running
sneaky.
and an oof. Saturnian, what's your you have already positioned yourself so they can't get past you, and you have your bow and arrow out. So, what is it you wish to do from here?
I uh since you're doing that, and my element of surprise is basically not like non-existent anymore, I'm assuming. Um like the who's the first person in front of me? Like who's the
The
first person
well,
coming
it's
up
not
the
Sir. Let's call him Sir Lancelot Little.
Sir Lance? Cool. I like that. I'm going to shoot a
Oh, come on.
I'm gonna shoot a warning shot at Sir Lancelot, at Sir Lancelot's head. Um,
Hang on,
and
is it a warning shot or are you shooting his head?
you know what? That'll be the warning shot for the others. I'm gonna shoot him in the head. Uh, and then do my like gruffest, scariest "I am the Dark Knight" voice. Um, and just tell them that was a warning. So like
Okay.
this
Make
better
yourself
be
a
good.
check because here in the dark, um, make yourself a check. Here in the dark, all sorts of stuff can go wrong.
Yeah, fair
And
enough.
roll with me an effect dice to see how well you go.
Okay, so I got a 2,
Hmm.
and that beats all of my stats. So ha ha ha. Ha. Uh, yeah. Okay. Uh, my effect dice is base 6, but I'm using my um
Hmm.
fancy
Sorry.
bow, so I'm gonna get myself like a D8.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, that's. Do I get it?
Hmm.
Do I get a better one because I kind of say I'm night vision, or oh, I already took off my glasses, so that doesn't work for that, does it? I'll just roll the D8.
Okay.
I got a 6.
Nice. Brings it down to 10. And Sir Lamorak.
Sir Lamrak is going to use his full body to stand like a wall and is just going to smile pleasantly at the knights and be like, uh, how about we all just, go back, get some sleep? I'm sure it's been a long day and all the bedrooms are occupied, as you know. And just kind of keeps smiling pleasantly and just gestures like back to the hall, to the knights. He's not going to attack first. He knows to try. He's going to try and not attacking first, one way or the other.
You still get a check, still get a check, and still get an effect die to overall affect the scene. So you
Okay.
tell me. So tell me your check for what you get, for how you're doing it, and then roll me an effect dice for how effective you think this might be.
I got an 11 and I'm using wit, so just one down. Thankfully.
No consequence. And your effect die for how effective you're. Why don't we all just?
Uh,
Oh, they're
so
drunk. So maybe you can. I forgot to add that for the other two, but maybe if you need that.
oh yeah, like
Oh
they're
yeah, they're
drunk.
drunk. They're
Mm-hmm,
staggering.
mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. So,
Yep, they are absolutely
Yep.
staggering.
Yeah, so based on that, he's like Sir Lamrak is kind of using the tone of this like very tender best friend of like, hey, you're drunk, it's fine. See, I can help you. And he's seeing them like sort of teetering, especially because the way they're standing on the stairs, they are like teetering a little bit. Some of them clearly look nauseous because they've drunk too much in the
Hmm.
drinking, and one of them has just gotten shot by Sir
Hmm.
Ternian. So Sir Lamorak is using every single like herding his siblings, herding his various fiefdom people, all the people he manages, the people he rules, using all of that diplomacy that he's learned, that very gentle, almost condescending, but not enough to trigger anything. To tone like, let's just all go back. Aren't you feeling a little dizzy? And he even, like, to couple of the nights he tries to gaslight them by saying that, are you seeing two of me right now? You know, it's been a long day, sir. Come on, you've had such a good night. So yeah, I'm going to say,
Nice.
because he has
Um,
diplomacy skills learned, that's a D6, and
mhm,
I'm going to upgrade it to a D8.
mhm.
Okay, let's see. I need to find a D8. No, wrong. Yeah, found one. I got a 6.
Nice. Okay, so you have reduced the AN down to 4. So while it's still going on, let's paint out this scene as we go. So the first thing that happens is Sir Byron, their leader, comes and begins to wake them up, and the drunk knights begin sort of staggering up, and then one of them cops an arrow fair in the face, and then even as the first one cries out, ah! As this and sort of like goes down to the ground, holding sort of the arrow between his fingers. And then Sir Lamorak is like, "All right, folks," and the three of you face down 10 dagger wielding knights, and you see them about to break. Now, I believe it is time for a break. Uh, so why don't we have a little break? We've got a 5-minute break to do whatever you want to do. And then how's about we come back to it from there? Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
Sounds good. See you guys.
Fantastic.
Mark, you're on fire with the
All right.
puns today. The last little thing has
Welcome back, folks. Where we last left off, a group of 10 drunk, dagger wielding knives were heading up the stairs to some unknown purpose. Not wanting to allow these knights to go about their business, Dame Deirdre tackled the first one. The Saturnian shot another one in the face, and Sir Lamorak held them back with words, but backed with steel. So, in our next round, tell me your intentions for what they do. Even as on the ground, Dame Deirdre, you are wrestling Sir Byron has his knife out in the and he is wrestling with you, trying to get this knife to stab down into your neck to see if he can win this killing blow. The other knights face both Sir Turnian and Sir Lamorak together. Your words holding them back even as they stagger and consider their options. One of them holding an arrow in the face, blood wielding down. He's sort of gone down to one knee in pain. But nonetheless, there are still 8 of them before you. Will the 3 of you hold back 8? Tell me what you do.
So my goal with tackling is I want to be able to disarm his name escapes
Sir
me. I want to
Byron?
disarm, yeah, Sir Byron, and hold his dagger to his throat as a threat of like, is your life worth more than this false cause you're trying to follow through with?
Nice. If you just tell me your intention, the dice rolls will tell us how it actually turns out, right? Does
Yep,
that make sense?
that's
Yeah,
my
yeah.
intention.
That's a
So
great intention. That's a
let's
great
see if that works.
intention. And then we'll narrate how that works after our dice rolls. So, what's
Okay.
your intention here, Sir Lamorak?
Okay, so we still have a couple of knights, and Sir Lamorak's is now reconsidering his options of what they can do. Uh, he is fairly confident in the three's abilities, but the whole point is to get them intimidated and cowed enough to stop, and then they can investigate. So he's going to get loud. He's going to try his
Remember,
best
there
at
is
a
a
very
whole hall.
convincing impression.
He's a whole hole full of sleeping knights. So,
Exactly.
um, yeah,
He's
yeah,
going
they're
to do
starting
a
to
very
raise.
convincing impression of a rooster, or going to try to do a very convincing impression of a rooster to try and get them all up.
Nice. And what's your intention, Sir Tanian?
It's still dark as heck in here, right?
Mm-hmm.
All
Just
right.
shadows by the embers of the hearth fire and what's left in the braziers.
Cool. Um, after I shot that one guy in the face, if they don't take the hint from that, because that was in pitch dark, I'm going to
They're,
I'm
they're
going
on the
to
edge of breaking.
yeah. um hmm, yeah, I'll go with my gut. I'm going to use the arrow to open up one of the things and let the light in, or like let the moonlight in, and um threaten him again. But like, I shot that one guy in the dark. How do you think you fare?
Nice. I love it. Let's roll some dice. Everybody is at risk of injury, so roll me a check and also roll me an effect die for of how you think you're going to go with it. So,
Remember, they're drunk.
yeah,
Oh yeah,
they're
they are
drunk.
drunk.
So, because they're drunk, you can upgrade your die because they're drunk.
I
All
have no
right.
consequence, and I rolled a 5.
Nice.
Yeah, no consequence.
I
Sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Oh, I got a 7, and I'm using wit, since this is more threatening than, so it would be 7 out of 12.
And no consequence. And Selamarak,
I got a 15.
we've got a consequence. All right.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of drunk guys with knives. So your combined effect dice have overcome the activity number. So at the end of this scene, you will have succeeded at your overall goal, which I believe, but correct me if I'm wrong, is to drive these knights from the hall. Is
Yeah.
that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're not attempting to like kill them all or anything like that. So, however, there is a consequence here, and unless I miss my guess, there's going to be a little bit of a they're going to sort of stir themselves up to come at you, Sir Lamorak. So I'm going to see how well we do here. You are unarmored, so the knives will be hurtful. So I'll roll for them. So your consequences, you take 6 endurance damage. I probably didn't take you out. Because the scene has changed since the party, you got all your endurance back. So it was back to 8. Right, so this is a different scene from the party scene. So all your endurance is back to 8. So it won't have done anything. So let's describe the scene. So you guys know that you have succeeded and won at the end of this. So please describe what you do in the action, and at the end of it, you will have won the field. So who wants to go first?
I can go first, because I think what I want to
Mhm.
do plays out for everybody else. Um, so as the guy is screaming with like holding his face, I loose another arrow, and like it opens the window, and like moonlight shines in,
Mhm.
and it shines down on Deirdre and like glimmers off of them, and like shines off, and like reflects everywhere, like reflects everywhere else.
Yep. Yep.
For Limerick and me, and like when it cuts to me, it's just like, I shot him in the dark. How do you think
Mhm.
you fare? As the other guys
Right.
are like, ugh, and then yeah,
Their
that was it.
eyes go their eyes go wide with sudden fear. So who do we go with next? I think we'll hit Sir Lamorak next because you actually got hit. So describe what happened. You just lost most of your endurance. So this isn't actual wounds. This is sort of your ability to guard yourself. So describe the scene.
Um, Sir Lamorak uh, makes that is about to make that sound and gets sort of tackled. He this drunk guy just kind of like literally like hits him shoulder first, right in his solar plexus, because he's
Yeah.
currently on a lower level.
Mm-hmm.
So he is winded and out of caught off guard, and uh, his axe starts to slip from his grip a little bit, but he manages to catch hold of it and swings back at the knight. Uh, Now, because of this now it says that like the consequence is that my endurance is low, but does it mean that I haven't gotten a hit on him, or
No,
can I still get a
you're
hit on?
always successful. You definitely have the hit. So you roll the
Okay.
effect die. The effect die shows that you've made progress.
Okay, I'm going to roll again. I'm going. This is his knife, his axe. The axe that he's created, and he's trained for it. So I'm going to use a D8 also for this one. I am just rolling fantastic today. Truly, it's just been a mixed bag. I got a 1.
That's okay. So in this case, it would tell the narrative that your counter blow on screen wouldn't look very effective.
Hmm. Like
So
he kind of
it's something like that.
swipes. Yeah, he swipes in the air at him, and it just barely like kind of there's a shallow cut on his on the side of his face. It just grazes by. Like he's not trying to like behead him, and he's caught off guard, so he just reacted.
It's like, ugh. Okay, and Dame Deirdre.
So yeah, me and this sure
Around.
wrestling on the ground, and I would, my goal is met, so I am able to wrestle away his dagger, and I put it to his throat, and I say, is your life worth whatever false promise you're following on? And and I make a show of like dragging him up from the ground and showing the other knights that I will not hesitate to take his life.
Um, he says, "Mercy, Sir Knight, mercy."
Mercy is only given if you can tell me why.
He says, so King Bycourt has my sister has as a hostage. He has threatened to do terrible things to her unless I take my wolf knights here and slay some babe child that is related to the countess.
Um, did any of the other is anyone else in the hall awake, or is it just the three
They
of us
are
still?
starting to wake up.
Yeah,
There's a bit of a
so
hue and a cry as people are like, "What the?" And you see knights like going for weapons and standing up,
okay.
and there's a little bit of confusion.
I will like
Most
point
people are still
to
drunk.
one of the other knights and be like, bring me some rope. We'll tie them up and stuff like that because I don't want to kill these guys. So let's just tie them up.
Uh,
You tie them up without a problem. When the call for mercy is given, they sort of drop their weapons and swear not to sort of act against you. You can choose to further tie them up if you wish to. Um, in the setting, they have done a major crime equaling that of like murder or worse. They have broken the bond of hospitality. To attack someone in their hall is one of the worst things in Avalonian society. But they have done that. What you do with them from here is up to you. But after the hue and cry is over, and they have these people, you've got rope, you've tied them up. Sir Byron sort of looks gloomy as he sort of is inwardly thinking about everything that has gone wrong. When the Countess sort of comes down the stairs and commands everyone to silence, and she says, "Speak now. What has happened in this place? In my hall, in my home?"
I, uh, I point immediately to Sir Byron. He did it.
Countess, Sir Lamorak goes into like a rushed, concise explanation of like we had noticed we he does not mention that they had noticed them not drinking. he starts with we were all about to go to sleep, and we'd noticed them getting up with their swords and everything, and we confronted them. We tried diplomacy, tried to get them to go back, ask why they were here, but they chose to fight instead. They have broken the rules of hospitality, like very like subtly, like very much emphasizing on the they have violated the sanctity of your home and the rules of hospitality. Yeah.
Then my knights, she says, I thank you. I thank thee for being watchful in these halls. And she stares down at these. For those oath breakers such as this, um, we shall perhaps sell them back to Sir Bycourt as it may be, but I do not give them liberty, nor do I give them the nor do I allow them the status of knights. Throw them in a pit, and if they survive, then perhaps, she says, I will. Then perhaps we might make some good of them. The knights. Sir Lancelot, the blood still pouring out of the arrow wound, like glares daggers at you, Sir Turnian. His beautiful face forever marred by this hole. You see his his tongue. There's just blood coming down. The Sir Byron, on the other hand, just looks gloomy, and the other knights are all look defeated. When
Um.
everyone finally, yeah,
Oh. Before they get escorted, I want to stop Sir Byron and ask where his sister is being held.
she is
I
held
was
in
also going to
King
do the
Bycourt's.
same thing.
She is held in in Bycourt's dungeons, or perhaps worse, in his chambers.
Okay. And then I let him pass as he's escorted to the pit.
So Lamorak is going to press a small dagger, uh, not a dagger, but a blade in Sir Byron's hands, so that he can be able to escape the ropes and maybe make his way, and give him a coin that essentially gives him safe passage through Sir Lamorak's lands if he by chance somehow managed to escape the pits.
Nice.
And
You probably don't do it right now, but you'll probably do it later. There's just too many eyes right now for a sort of a mixture of that, but you can definitely have done that later. Is there anything that you will have wanted to do at this scene, Dame Deirdre?
Um, she probably just goes to a couple knights who are standing around and be like, ha, should have seen the look on their face. Like just, playing up the events and stuff. Like,
Everyone,
yeah.
they just like bash you on the
Yeah.
shoulder and they're like, "Oh, you are amazing!"
Yeah, I know.
And
Yeah.
yeah, um, there's lots of cheering. There's a bit more drinking, but the Countess Ennifin summons you up to her chambers, all the three of you, and you see up there's the Countess. There is the relatively young looking Marilyn, relative to the Countess at any rate, who she's dressed in a beautiful dress. She has a long sort of crooked staff that she is. This is Marilyn, not the Countess. That she is driving the wooden point into the flagstones just gently. And there is a woman who you, Sir Turnian, recognize, and a small baby in this woman's arms. And the Countess sits on a seat. You're in the bedroom of these women, and the Countess sits on a stool, and the three of you stand before her, and she says to you, "My knights, you have shown bravery, skill, observance, and the skill of observation. You are perhaps greater knights than many I have in the halls below me, and I do not fault their valor, only to say that yours is perhaps even greater than theirs. I wish to." She looks over to her wife and to the woman, and Marilyn, her wife, nods, And the Countess turns back to you. She's got that. She's still got the full head dress. She's got the thick dress. She's got like furs for the winter. She's a 60-something-year-old woman with white hair. Um, my knights, this child that you see here is more than just any child. This lady you see before you, she is the bastard child of the old High Queen. And this child here is the true High Queen of all Avalon, not that of Bycourt the betrayer, and Bycourt has unfairly usurped her rule. You have saved her, I feel, this night, for if there was no attack on the knights below, but an attempt to come up here, there would be only one reason for that, and that is to end this child's life before she becomes a problem. I have been thinking on this, and I wish to ask you something. If you wish it, will you help me to unite Avalon once again under the banner of the Lioness? She says, indicating to the small girl, to the small baby girl. Her name is Kalia Penlu, and I feel that her bloodline, her ancestry, and with your training and protection, and with our work together, we might unite this land.
My lady, um, I have no qualms in being a servant to the true High Queen. I only ask for mercy for Byron and Hisman, as he is.
He looks at you flatly, like almost with anger.
Yeah, I'll take it. Byron and his men, as his sister is in the has been captured by the usurper, and he only did this under duress.
He chose to break his bond of hospitality with me, but I shall take your advisement. What do you say, Knight Deirdre and Sir Lamorak?
Knight Deirdre will go immediately to the woman and drop to her knee and just bow her head and say, my life is yours to do with as you please.
The woman holds down the small baby and holds out the baby's hand and says, "Will you swear your vassalage, Knight Deirdre? Your strong arm. You will be the first knight of the Lioness."
Yeah, Deirdre, she reaches out to hold this little hand and say, I swear it.
Sir Lamorak, says the Countess, what is your thought?
So Lamorak is quiet for quite a while, and he carefully tells the Countess, my sword and my loyalty has always been yours. And you and I both know I hold no love for the usurper, especially after what happened to my parents. However, I have loved ones. I have my sister, and I have my best friend, and I have people that their deaths, my parents' deaths, have they have become my responsibility. They have become my charge to protect. In the same way, this child can be one of my charges. However, I would like to request, if when we do help the true queen unite Avalon, that there are certain protections and certain rewards that are given to certain members of my family in the meantime as we take on this mission.
The Countess leans forward and she says, "You fear for your family, and that is understandable. But without your aid, Sir Lamorak, this light of hope may never spread to the rest of the land. You may need to risk them, and I swear to you that I shall hold out my hand to protect you and yours, but I cannot guarantee it. Will you help us light the flame of hope in this dark time?"
Sir Lamorak takes one knee, he takes a knee, looks up, and says, "As long as my loved ones remain on this earth and m- my sword holds true."
The mother of the child holds out um, the little baby's hand and says, "Do you swear vassalage?"
"I swear vassalage," he says, hesitating for just half a second.
They then, all of them turn to you, Sir Turnian, the Moon Knight. The
The Dark Knight, the Moon Knight. I cross all platforms, guys.
what is you already have my you have sworn your vassalage to me, Sir Turnian. Will you change it now to this babes?
I'm gonna go over, not so much bow, but like look at the little girl and like do the coochie coochie coo thing and like keep humming to her, and then like the same song
She
I
like
was humming
smiles and
before.
grabs your finger.
Yeah,
She's got a mighty grip. It is a mighty grip.
yeah. When she grabs my finger, I'm gonna like I'm gonna turn it and then like kiss her hand, and I
Mhm.
and I swear it.
She does not let your finger go until her mother has to like peel those little fingers off. Okay. At that, I think we're going to end the quest phase of night, and everyone returns to their fiefs after this. Okay. So, are you guys happy with that? Is there anything else you wish to do in that last scene before we move on to our next phase of the game?
It's not something I want to do. It's just I want it known that like while
Let
all
it
of
be
this is
known.
yeah, let it be known my eyes or like I was only staring at the child as everyone else was like looking at and everything and talking to me. That's fine. I was staring at the kid as I swore my fealty.
I would also like
As you,
for it to be known that in casual conversation, probably after this, like the next morning over breakfast or something, Deirdre, not even intentional, like again, one-sided beef, but she just brings it up. Wow, it's so interesting to be like the first night of like, she really is pushing that. Like, oh, I was the first one.
the countess at breakfast shushes you and says, "It is best that Bycourt not know of this."
Of course, so sorry, so sorry.
Yeah,
Um,
no, you can have like you see this does not affect Tiernan at all because he's just sitting there humming the same song he was humming to the little girl. So look, you may be first night, but she wouldn't let me go. So
Okay, well, we'll see.
um, Sir Lamorak uh, takes a little bit after the whole thing to write another letter explaining himself and also kind of reinforcing and kind of just asking about the health about the woman holding the woman with the baby, and send and writes this letter and gives it to the countess for her specifically, just because he'd seen he didn't get a full like look at her in the dark, but uh, she looked scared, and he wanted to reassure her that he had no ill intentions with his hesitation.
Your The countess takes heed of your letter inquiring as to the state of the Princess Anandri, the she smiles at you, Sir Lamorak, as she reads your letter, and she says, "While the princess, or while her heart shall perhaps always belong to her true love, he died protecting her not too long past, and he is not here. And just on the day of of the Princess Kalia's birth, perhaps in time, the Princess Anandri might well make a good marriage partner to you, Sir Lamorak."
So Lamrak bows and says, you honor me, Your Grace, and
Then perhaps you should
please
pay
do
her
let her."
court.
So Lamrak nods and
Though I caution you
essentially,
not at this time.
So Lamrak is like yes, and he lets the countess know like, um, I hope the princess will not mind me writing a few uh, with a little more correspondence from our that we can share. And just
Send it to my thief.
FYI, this was that Sir Lamorak did mean that letter to be like well intentioned, explaining his motivations, but half of his mind was also she seems like if I can join my lands with hers, this is a much bigger I could fulfill all of my parents' dreams like in just one go.
Theoretically, she doesn't own any land that hasn't been taken by other people. You do have a bit of a problem. She has claim on lands, but King Bycourt owns them.
Yeah,
So,
so like that's the
um,
thing. Like Sir Lamrak has gone. If we defeat the king, that that moves me so much closer to the throne, and I get to fulfill the colors of our heraldry. I get to be royal.
nice.
So like that was
So,
like it was half well intentioned, half was definite manipulation. It was definitely trying to get in there.
You think Sir
nice.
Lamorax, you go in this thinking that Sir Lamorax's a good guy, just a nerd who likes tinker. Nah, homie, he want that throne. Like, let's go. All right,
Where
I
are
see
where
you.
are
I see you.
Nice. Let's move on to the fifth phase, and I think our the TV show of Night will probably have some phases of winter turning into spring and into summer and things like that. So in the fifth phase, we sort of so the quest phase focuses deeply on the quest of some knights, and the fifth phase kind of draws back and we tell some grander stories about the world. So the first thing we're going to do is have a family affair, which is what happens here is you pick a family member of yours, and then we roll a d66, so 2d6, and you tell me what those numbers are. And I'll give you a word, which is a story seed. So it might be weapon or liege or prowess or romance or anything. Um, and what happens then is then if you choose to, you can roll a luck die to see whether it's good or bad. And then you invite someone else or another NPC, another person of one of the other characters' families here along, and they have a situation together. So, example: Sir Lancelot, healing from his arrow wound, has Sir Roundabout, um, is his younger brother. Now, so Roundabout is a is I roll 2d6 over here. I get a 1 and a 5. So 1, 5, courage. And I'm going to bring in someone else. I'm going to say Sir Byron's sister. I'm going to say Sir Roundabout feels that Sir Byron's sister has been unfairly imprisoned, taken as a hostage, and mistreated by the king. And so he attempts to personally rescue her. So what I might do, if Sir Roundabout was a real character, I'd roll a check. I get a 16. He failed. How bad was it? Roll a luck die. Terrible luck. So Roundabout got captured, imprisoned, and his arm just got cut off by Sir Byron in the attempted rescue of Sir Byron's sister. So that's basically the concept of what I might do there. I'd also involve someone else's family member in on that. So I'll say so Roundabout invited Saturnian's one of your two simultaneous heirs to be involved in that. How well did it go? And I'll say, well, now they're both captured. Something like that. Does that make sense? So we just tell
Yeah.
little nightly style stories about what goes on. And it happens in Avalon. And the other thing that we do is we go back to our map. And every time you have a little story, you draw on the map where it happened or something to do with it in some way. Does that make sense?
Fantastic. Cool.
So who'd like to go first? So you pick a family member, entangle somebody else's family member, and roll me 2d6. Who wants to go?
I honestly don't remember either one of their family members.
You've got Sever. So which family member do you pick?
Me, I would pick Quinn the ambitious.
Quinn the Ambitious. So you have an ambitious younger knight, and tell me about another family member who might. So I'll roll you. Roll me 2d6 for your event.
I got 5 total.
So tell me the dice numbers.
Oh, 3 and 2.
3 and 2, something to do with hospitality. So Quinn the Ambitious, something to do with hospitality, and please invite somebody else's family member involved. So
Can I do Sir? Can I do Sir Roundabout? Who
you
is
really
the younger
want Sir
brother?
Roundabout?
Well, no, because if he is truly the brother of Sir Lance the Little, Quinn would probably want to mend that fence since I shot him in the face.
You did. Where's my pencil gone? Okay, well, I just made those up on the spot, but if we want Sir Roundabout to be
And now
real,
they're canon.
they're canon now, I guess. So Roundabout. So Roundabout, they're related to the fairies, and so let me give them. Yeah, they're literally fairy knights, and they or have a fairy lineage, and so they all get named unusual things. So okay, so you're going to invite Sir Roundabout. Remember to invite the other. So it's often better to invite the other players' family involved because that connects your
Cool.
characters in tightness, but NPCs perfectly fine as well.
Can I like, since this is a hospitality thing, can I invite more than one?
Yeah, why not?
Sweet. Then I would also invite Deirdre's second, who I'm pretty sure is a cousin. And
yeah, my first cousin Elaine, who's my heir, and then my youngest brother Amran, who's my spare.
Okay, so I'm gonna do Elaine because Quinn is ambitious, so he wants to make friends with Elaine and Lamorak. Who are your heir and spare?
My heir is Aisha, who's my best friend, and she's the artsy one. And then I have Tara, who is my half sister. She's the big beefy one who likes to fight.
Okay, well then he's gonna do the big beefy one who likes to fight.
What was her name? Sorry.
Tara.
Tara.
Now, roll me a d6 for luck. 1 terrible, 6 great. Everything else just interesting.
1 terrible, 6 great, huh? Okay.
Yeah, and
Okay.
two bad, but not terrible. That's
No. I think it's me.
Oh, you have to roll. Okay.
Yeah. I got a 5. My death die gave me a 5.
Nice. So great luck. So it was a great event. Hospitality. Tell me the story of what happens.
So Quinn, in honor to mend fences, decides to throw a little feast for Sir Lance Little. Obviously, Sir Lance Little too angry to come, so he sends his brother, he sends his little brother Sir Roundabout, and to try and make more powerful friends. Quinn also invites Deirdre, who is who Quinn knows is from Tiernan, talking about the Sun Knight constantly. It's just so it's
Endless.
it's just endless. It's like, okay, so I'm gonna invite Elaine, obviously. And then also also hearing Tiernan's adventures, and from what he knows of Court, he's going to invite Tara, because he feels like she's big, she's beefy, some muscle might be nice. Um,
Nice.
and yeah, he puts on this little event for them. Um,
Tell me about your fief. Tell me about your house that you live in. Is Quinn hosting it in your house?
yeah, Quinn is hosting it in my house. It's fine. Um, it's kind of like the coming up to it, it feels like it's a haunted mansion. The wood is really, really, like, it's not wood, but like it's made of some really dark stones that you would find deep in the marsh. And like the woods are really creepy, but they are very, very sturdy. So the homes that are like homes and buildings that are made out of that wood have weathering, but it's like it's they've been bleached by the sun, that like this thing is so old, so it looks like white buildings as you come up. It's like, and the people really embrace the creepy nature of which they live in near the Forgotten Forest. um so they kind of play up all the dark and creepy things, like overgrown vines on the walls and stuff like that. But when you walk inside, it's very homey. Like it's very comforting. So as you enter like the main part of the main hall, there it is, that's the word, the main hall, it's very like warm and cozy, and like there's enough space, there's a lot of performance arts happening. So it's basically a circus inside. um because these people like spend a lot of time in the trees, so they're doing acrobatics and stuff like that to like,
Wow.
yeah.
So, Elaine and Tara, you see people doing acrobatics in this homely place, sort of a spooky old manor. And so they rolled a five, so it was great luck. You had a great time. Why? Tell me what you loved about it. Or tell me what Elaine and Tara loved about it. And quick thing is Quinn married?
Oh, Quinn is not. They have not found an acceptable match for them.
Is Quinn interested in either Elaine or Tara or potentially Sir Roundabout?
uh Quinn is interested in whoever can get them closer to royalty, like
Ooh.
closer to status. So
They say Sir Lamorak has royalty in their blood.
yes, they say that, but has it been proven yet?
No.
Which is why Tara's there. It's like, oh, they say this.
Okay.
Until it is proven, then they're
So,
on the menu.
Elaine,
So
what do you love about this, and why is Quinn such a an interesting person?
So Lane is she shares in Deirdre's like talkative, outgoing nature, but she's relies more on her smarts than Deirdre ever could dream of. So she is, she loves to make connections and get like the courtly gossip. So that's kind of her goal of just like gathering information. And she really enjoys the festivities, like she likes nice parties and stuff like that. Um, and she's also like a little bit more of like a snob than Deirdre. Like, and she presents herself in a much more courtly fashion. Like she's always very well put together. So that's what she's enjoying. And what she thinks of Tara. Um, she likes her ambitions, but she's cautious. But
Oh,
if they have good conversations, then
Quinn
Quinn.
is the one who's
Quinn, sorry,
hosting.
Quinn.
So the two of them are is the dialogue snappy between them? Do their eyes meet across a crowded, smoky, and smells of sort of roasted pig hall?
Yeah, yeah. And again, Elaine, she's very outgoing, so she would just immediately introduce herself. And live up to the sunshine thing that the whole family shares and of just being bright and warm. But there is more of a wit to her words, a little bit more of like an edge. Like every word is very carefully placed and stuff. She's not as open as Deirdre. So
Mhm. And what about Tara? What do you think about this party that that Quinns has put on, and how he keeps talking to you about your potential noble lineage?
Um, so with Tara, this is a day out. This is an outing. She's out anywhere that's not her fiefdom, her lands, and is not kind of surrounded by two very imposing, annoying older sisters. And she's just glad to get away, mostly because she kind of had a bit of a teenage breakup with one of the working girls, not working girls,
Mhm.
with the peasant
Oh, the
woman.
peasants.
uh,
Hmm.
yeah, and she's grumpy and but is like full raring to go, like rebounding. But right now there's not a lot of places to rebound, so she's kind of like focusing on Deirdre in this sort of starry-eyed, and and she keeps kind of trying to engage her in conversation of, like, fighting and
You
sword
mean
movements, and
Elaine?
what you could also
Oh, so Tara's trying to get your attention, get Elaine's attention. Does it
yeah.
work?
uh
yeah, I think yeah. She's easily just drifting because she wants. That's the thing about Elaine. She's friends with everybody. You know,
Ah,
she's kind of one of those people. Yeah.
I thought we had
Mhm.
something.
Keep my options open.
So the two of them. So Quinn's, just as you're speaking, as Quinn's is speaking with Elaine, the Elaine's attention is clearly sort of brought away by Tara and her who's like pulled out a sword and is like showing a couple of like fancy moves and the rest of that sort of stuff. And I don't know. Does Elaine? I don't know what Elaine does exactly to that, but the attention is drawn. What does Quinn's do when that happens? And this will be the end of this little
Um,
scene. Just that interest in you has just, like, the sun was shining on you for a moment and now it's not.
yeah, no, I think since Quinn is um like I like feels like I brought everyone together, this kind of should be, my party. So
Mhm.
they're going to um like join like do some acrobatic feats on their own to like demonstrate like this is what we do. This is what my people do in in and like you ain't seen nothing yet kind of move. Like, oh, you got a sword? Cool, 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 cool.
Who
Can
does
you
who
do
does better?
this?
Who does better between Sir Lamorak? Between Tara and Quinn. We should roll a luck die
Yeah,
to
let's
see
see
who's
how
the
this goes.
higher. Quinn doesn't have anything special in his background to show that he's particularly acrobatic, does he? But Tara
Uh,
is. So
yeah, no, Quinn is just
uh,
ambitious.
Tara, roll me a luck die with advantage. So roll twice and take the better one, and Quinn rolls once to
Yeah,
see who's the fancier one who gains Elaine's attention.
I got a 5, so not bad.
And Tara, how did Tara do?
what do I roll for? Oh, I just rolled
Two d6,
normal
6.
dice. Okay. Oh, 2d6. All right.
and take the better one.
Hmm. I got 2 5s as well.
Elaine, that choice is down to you. Who are you going to shine your light on?
Hmm. You know what? I think Elaine finds a third person in the party. She gives them both a nice little applause, and then she
There's
turns her
Sir
attention to
Roundabout.
somebody else.
Yeah,
Yes, a
just
roundabout.
There's Sir Roundabout. And the two of you are left alone while Elaine and Sir Roundabout sort of speak and have a great time together. Okay, I think we're
I'm
going to end.
well.
Yeah. Uh,
I think Quinn at that point would just be like, "Okay, so tell me about this sword."
yep.
Yeah, and
Nice.
Tara's just like, kind of deflated and is like, yeah, sure, might as well.
Yeah.
And they talk about weapons and swords, and Tara maybe confides in Sequin a little bit about the breakup, just in a very teen emo way.
Look, I
Nice.
will listen with like half an ear. Like Quinn is taking notes. It's like, oh, okay, so this is interesting. This is interesting. Is that an N? Maybe.
This is great for later when you need to pull on it. Yeah. Excellent. We're going to end that scene there. That was that situation. All right. And who wants to go next? Abalasha or Kendra?
Yeah, I'd like to go next.
Okay, pick a family member.
Okay. Well, Aisha.
Aisha, and roll 2d6 and tell me the numbers on both.
It's a double day, baby. That's two sixes.
Two sixes. Oh, magic. Something happens to do with magic on the table. And who are you going to involve in this situation? You need to entangle
Uh,
somebody.
hmm. So I think, well, I want to entangle like maybe
The
someone
other
with
thing
a
is you
little
can
more.
entangle player characters as well. So yeah.
Okay. So I think I'm going to entangle Sir Tiernan, like because he's one of the people that they know about like magic or at least blessings and this kind. But he's also going to be entangling some heal like wise women and maybe even like witches who happen to be part of like the court. Like there's a court magician, I'm
There are the
assuming,
ladies
or
of the
like,
lake.
yeah, the ladies
There's
of
the
the
ladies of
lake.
the lake. There is Marilyn, the sorceress. Roll me a d6 to see whether it's good or bad.
Okay, that's a two.
Tell me what happens. So Saturnion's involved. Aisha's involved. Potentially some other magicians are involved. You tell me the story of what happens to Avalon.
Okay, so Aisha, in all her research and everything, she comes across stories of a artist who, with their drawings, with their sketches, could make a a death reel. And Aisha, like if he draws it, that's the very, and he crumples that paper and destroys it, that's the brutal way that person will die. Aisha reaches out to the contacts, to magical people, to ask about the story and how can someone do this, just as an academic purpose. And she reaches out to the sorceress, and in all their research they come across a mention of certain properties, certain ingredients that you need to put in your paint that can create this kind of scenario where a person can, maybe they've not dared try it, but can maybe draw something that that can end up killing someone miles out, as long as you have their face, as long as you've drawn them accurately. in this in this thing, one of the reasons why Aisha is even found out about magic and is doing this is because they never solved the deaths of Lamorak's parents. Like it happened in some secluded area somewhere. There were not really people around, and but they died gruesomely. So
So,
Aisha has.
so she's gained some knowledge, and I love that, but it's still terrible luck. Does she get a reputation as being a necromancer? Do people hear about it and speak her name with fear?
Yes,
Mhm.
because she's found in graveyards. She's seen by a couple of people in graveyards because one of the ingredients happens to be bone, bone
Mhm.
pieces, and in like she's found near not near she's found near like a few peasant graves and royal graves as well, which to a lot of the people is very disconcerting. Like, why is she sniffing around? Why is she here at this weird time? So she starts to gain a reputation from this erudite scholar into someone a lot more dangerous.
So she have the death spell? Does she? And that's your choice. Does she have the ability to do it, or is she still researching it? But she's got the reputation of being a necromancer. But can she actually do it?
I'm going to say that she hasn't fully gotten all the ingredients that she needs for the paint.
Mhm.
She's she's still waiting to confide in Lamorak because she does not want to proceed without the go conferring and because it was Lamorak's parents who suffered under this possible spell.
Sounds good. 30 minute. Okay. So, and next family affair. Kendra, please pick a family member.
Um, let's see. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with my youngest brother, Amron, who is my spare.
Mhm.
And
And
then we
roll me
roll
2d6.
2d6 here.
2d6 and tell me the numbers.
5 and 1.
20. So he's at a tournament. Okay.
Ooh,
And how
perfect.
well does that go for him? D6. And if you like, entangle someone else.
Okay. So I got a 6. Uh,
Great luck.
okay, so that's great. All right. This is gonna be great for Amron. So I think Aaron's motivation is he feels like he should be the heir, not the spare. He feels like he is better than Elaine and stuff like that. So he's going to try to use this tournament to build connections as well, but in a different matter. So he's going to invite the most eligible bachelors of each family to this tournament so that he can show off his skills and maybe marry somebody with nice status or beautiful looks, something
So
that
you got
will,
a 6. You got a 6.
yeah.
You
Oh
can
man, wow.
absolutely have that happen.
Okay. So yeah, to Sir Turnian and Sir Lamorak, who would be your most eligible bachelors of your family?
Well, Sir Tyrion, but he wouldn't
Sorry.
go to. Yeah, no, for real. But he wouldn't go to a tournament for a spare. No offense.
Okay.
Uh,
Well, no, yeah, no, I'm saying it. So your second most eligible bachelor.
I'd probably send my heir, Sir Seaver the Ruthless,
Okay.
who's more competitive than I am.
Oh no! Oh no!
Okay.
Um, I'd
And
I'd be sending. I think at this point, Aisha's still waffling on the conversation. So Lamrak is going to send Aisha because Aisha and Lamrak are pretty much the same age, and you know, trying trying to get more connections, trying to get them married. And Aisha is not a knight, trained knight. but is perfectly fine, entertaining, like as a Knight's Tale, Geoffrey Chaucer style entertainer.
Mhm, mhm.
Awesome.
So you mentioned bachelors, and I believe Aisha is a bachelorette or non-conforming. Is that a matter for Amran to be
No, it's
concerned
not.
about?
Sorry. Yeah, it'd be bachelor, bachelorettes, anything.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
So who does Amran
he's
choose?
more into power and connections. That's what he's attracted to. So
Yeah. Who does he choose?
okay, let's
Or if you
see.
choose none,
Wait.
I will create somebody.
I I
Yeah.
I I do need a question. I do need a question answered.
Okay.
Who won this tournament?
Of course, me, Amran.
Okay, then yeah, Sivir would have been pissed. Would have been
Yeah.
pissed.
Yeah.
And also
Let's
gotten in
see.
second.
Hmm. So the thing about Amran is he's also cautious. So he's gonna play it safe, and he's going to go to Sir Lamarok's the
Aisha.
Aisha, thank you, because there is rumors that they are part of royalty, and so they seem like maybe that would the royal ties with the sun god ties. Oh my gosh, could you imagine the rumors and the prestige? So he's definitely gonna lay down the ropes and the romance, the flirtations, and see if it works.
So it's a six. The romance and the flirtation works. They may have engaged each other sexually, but the question is for Sir Lamorak. Do you agree to this wedding? You are the head of your house.
In-laws, let's go.
Because Aisha, I think Aisha, despite the fact that she's getting a bit of a reputation as something strange, she really seems to like Sir Amran, who was dashing, noble. He won a tournament. He beat 20 knights. Even the ruthless Sir Sever. Like he's an amazing dude. He's handsome. He's got a really cool mustache. Like what's not to like? I don't know if he has a mustache. That's up to
Yeah, he's a
Kendra.
mustache now. Yeah, it's canon.
Yep, yep.
um
He's like
so
Ryan
la-
Gosling when he was younger.
okay, so Lamorak is definitely a little taken aback, like, okay, what the hell happened at this tournament? I just sent you there so that you get out of the house a little bit. You've been like in your little uh you so what the hell happened? Okay, but Aisha is her best friend, and I think her initial reflexive reaction is, we'll talk about it later. And she keeps procrastinating because she knows that Aisha does want this and she's reluctant to lose her.
So she does not say yes.
She does not say yes yet. This is a let's talk about this later, and but she doesn't stop her from meeting up with Sir Amran. Just says, let's talk
Does
about the
Aisha?
engagement.
So as the year goes on, just one last question here. Does Is it relatively chaste, or does she become pregnant? What do you want to do? We could roll a luck die.
I'm all for leaving it
Let's
for
go with
luck, but
luck die.
yeah, let's do it. I'll let you roll it.
So hang on. So 50-50 chance, will we say? So 4, 5, and 6 is Aisha gets pregnant. Who wants to roll it? So Lamorak, Aisha is your family member.
Yep, I'll let you do it.
Yeah. Shit. Good God. Today is just great. It's just great. I got a 5.
Nice.
Great. Now there's a bastard.
Yeah.
Not if you allow the wedding.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
Sir
now
Amron would
Aisha
immediately
is like
propose.
signed. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Um,
yeah, Aisha tells her in the second month, and she's like, really? And like they have like a little bit of a fight where she's like, you knew I was meeting her, you didn't stop me, no nothing, I know why you didn't want to. And they kind of like have a bit of a screaming match and then end up hugging and crying. And Salamrak gives them his blessing and organizes a pretty fancy wedding.
Nice.
Wait, who's
So
invited?
Amrin is married to the lady Aisha. Please make that known. And the child's name, you can give. You choose whatever its gender is, and or not or non-conforming, whatever, and give it a name, please. And that's then we'll move on to the next phase. Okay. So next phase is for me to do, and it's a bit quicker. So five. Okay. We're going to start with Saturnian. Saturnian, coming from the islands off to the east, a number of raiders attack your land. They are the Geats with the round shields and axes. They come on their dragon ships and go surprisingly far inland. And they steal anything that you haven't tied down, and they steal the tied down things too. The so you have sheep and cattle they're willing to take, but more than anything else, they take slaves. They take people and they sell them at slave markets, or they bring them back to be forced workers on their lands. The raiders come one night, and I need you to and you hear. And there is a hue and cry as your fighting men sort of start to see them. They have attacked in the night, and they have started to set fire to your outer buildings. They are already here. How are you going to deal with this problem?
They attacked at night.
Hmm.
Oh, that's very unfortunate for them.
Yeah.
So I call on my archers and ooh wait, I have boys. Yeah, I got archers and scouts. But yeah, I'm just gonna call on
Oh,
my
then I will say if you've got scouts, then I will say that you detected these raiders before they even got to your lands because your scouts keep an eye on your fief.
yeah.
They're going to come at night, but they're
Yeah.
not there yet.
So I prep for them by booby trapping the forests even worse than they already are naturally. And then as they um then I rain down arrows on them. I blot out the moonlight with arrows. Like
As they come in, they just get hailed on. All right, roll me a check to see how well you get and whether you get a consequence out of it,
um
or whether you are successful. And I'll give you advantage because you are the Knight of the Moon, and you detected them coming and you set up a bunch of booby traps. So roll with advantage, please.
okay. So I got a 12. So it doesn't matter what my stat is, I made it.
You made it. Okay.
I'm doing this with wit because I think it's wit is the one where you're pretty tactical, right? That's the
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
roll the
No,
12 with wit.
prowess is technically tactics. Wit is
Oh,
cunning and manipulation.
yeah. Well, dang it. So if it's prowess, then I got a 12. Oh wait, I got advantage. Never mind. Okay. Oh wait, thank God for advantage. I got an 8.
Sweet. I'd say that you drive back though the Geek Raiders before they even manage to take a single chicken. You kill half a dozen of them and end up with a few horned helmets in your collection. And you don't like you fought them off before you even engaged, and they flee, seeing that you are prepared. They don't try to engage you in like an actual fight. They see that you're prepared, and they take a few arrows and they back off. Okay, so that's that one. All right, next we have who we're going to pick on. We're going to pick on Salamarak. You're kidding me. Okay, something to do with a romance for Sir Lamorak. And for pretty reasonable. Sir Lamorak, you get a letter from the Princess Anandri. She thanks you for your inquiring as to her health, and she tells you mainly in her writings there. The health of the Princess Kalia, who she says is very loud, is very demanding, is healthy, and despite her young age is already like rolling over and doing everything that babies should. Um, she also asks, and because of that, she asks whether, and because of your interest, she asks quite plainly, although she speaks in a very archaic method. Um, uh, so her writing reads something like, to dearest Sir Lamorak, I have been wed before, as you know, and I cannot ever truly give my heart to another. But times be as they may, I would, I would, I would be looking to join with someone. Wouldst thou know of some noble knight, good of heart, whom I might marry?
Um, Sir Lamorak receives this letter. He confers with Aisha as well, who's been informed of Sir Lamorak's efforts on this front. And Sir Lamorak writes a very sincere and flattering letter back, making his interest known. And along with the letter, he sends a little gift. The gift is, I would say, the medieval version of the thing you hang over a baby's
Mobile.
crib. Yeah, that.
Mobile.
Yeah, mobile. So like with the little small little like knights and crowns, and just there's little like cute little things that a baby can play with,
Mhm,
that
mhm.
he made himself.
The thank you letter that she sends you is very endearing. Okay, so you have definitely made progress with the Princess Anandri. Okay, so and finally we have a Knight Deirdre. You have rolled a oh, monster and
Fun.
In law.
great luck. What am I going to say to this one? Okay, um, Deirdre, rumor has it that a dragon has begun haunting the lands and eating people and so on. And great rumor has it that it has a huge horde available. And many knights have gone off to slay it to see if they can claim the treasure and the glory for themselves. The question for you is, it's not on your lands. You would have to travel some distance away. Do you try for this dragon? It may end up in your death.
Yeah, I'm gonna go try for the dragon. I mean, just how much cooler would I be? I mean, what's the point of being a knight if you don't slay dragons? So yeah, Knight Deirdre.
Nice.
She goes
So
on.
the dragon is flying towards you on the and the dragon is flying towards you through over the treetops of the forest, and you feel the heat around you. You have your horse, your lance, everything else. How well do you do? Tell me what you're going to do to deal with this dragon. It's about the size of a really, really big horse with wings.
Oh, perfect. Horses right up my alley. So we're going. I have my lance. I'm thinking it's one of those like I like stand up on drums, my mighty steed, because we're just in sync like that. And I take a giant leap to try to spear the heart of this dragon.
Nice. Roll a check for me, please.
Okay, here we go. Oh my god. 2. Okay. So
It happens. No consequence. Your describe what happens.
I'm in. Me and drums, harmony. We've been through this many of times. I whisper into drums' ear, "Hey, you have been the best steed of my life." And then I stand on drums, and with the sun shining, glowing behind me, it's like as if the gods themselves push me up towards the dragon as I take this leap, and I'm flying, and I just spear it right in the heart.
All right. You take it down. You save the lens and find its hoard of gold. which you bring back to your fief. Excellent. All right, we only have 15 minutes or so left, according to my warning here. So I'm going to skip a little phase here of Season's Turn, which we can do online. But our very last stage of the fief phase before the next year begins is the glory phase. So at a feast at someone's house, you are all there. You have cheered. Everyone has had about 3 or 4 mugs of wine, and you are telling every one of you here about the glorious deeds that you have done in the year and what has happened, and you are celebrating them. So it goes like this. I will take another player. We'll go around the circle to our left and to our right, and we will celebrate something that they have done, something grand and amazing. So I will say, "So Roundabout, you have won the heart of the Lady Elaine," and I'll say, "Huzzah!" really loud, like "Huzzah!" like that. Everyone will say "Huzzah" together,
Huzzah.
and that's
Huzzah.
what we're going. Huzzah! And that's what we're going to do. So. Who would like to go first here? Who would like to celebrate their fellow knights and the glorious things they have achieved?
I mean, may I?
may.
Not
You
even
may.
intentionally. I just thought, Sir Tinian would want to know about this. I looked them in the eye and I was like, that dragon problem that they're having towards the west? Yeah,
Oh,
I
we're not
took care of
celebrating
that.
ourselves. We're
Oh,
celebrating each other.
each other. Darn. Okay.
Yep.
You know what? You know what? I will say to you anyways. Hey. You know what? You that the attack when they came for your lands, I heard about the battle and it was very impressive. The tactility that you guys pulled off. Very nice.
Oh, excellent. Everyone, huzzah!
Huzzah!
Huzzah.
Ah,
All right.
In response,
And
in response to
Mhm.
that, Sir Tiernan, I heard you blinded a dragon and then killed it. That again is
huzzah!
impressive. Huzzah!
Huzzah.
Huzzah!
Huzzah!
Huzzah! All right. And what? How can we celebrate Sir Lamorak's achievements?
Who needs to celebrate? Who else who greater to celebrate than the brother-in-law of combining 2 houses? Congratulations, Sir Lamorak, on
Hey.
the
Huzzah!
expansion of your
Huzzah.
kingdom or
Huzzah!
fiefdom.
Thank
Huzzah!
you to our families.
And all right.
And
Are there
in
any
this,
last?
he also announces. Sorry, he also announces in this feast that Aisha's child has been given the title of Lady of the Valley and has been appointed the third in line to their combined lands.
Huzzah!
Huzzah!
Everyone drinks. Everyone drinks.
Huzzah!
Everybody celebrates, and that is the feast. And so the very last thing that we do is improvement. And so what you do for improvement is improving the attributes of your knight. So that's vigor, prowess, and wit. What you do is you roll a d20 for each of your attributes going down the line. So vigor, prowess, and then wit. You roll a d20, and if it is over your number, then the number goes up by 1. Do that 3 times. Improvement is done, and the fief phase is over.
Okay, well.
Or did you include endurance in that, or it's just our 3 stats?
Not endurance.
Okay.
Not endurance. Just the attributes.
What if it meets it?
Nope. It's got to be over.
Has to be over. All right.
Yep, and if it does go over, please sort of give me a little scene where you're training or how you improve your attributes or something like that.
I rolled over on my prowess. I got a 14 and my prowess is a 10 currently.
So give me a scene of how Saturnian is improving.
Going over that battle plan where like I was attacked, I saw like which traps were effective and like more so than the others, and I implement those moving on in the future. I also give my scouts a raise. So
Excellent.
they stay ever vigilant.
Excellent. Were there any other improvements?
Um, no, because I met my wit and I got over on my vigor. So only my brain got bigger. Did not
Okay.
mean for that to rhyme.
All right. Kendra, how did Night Deirdre go?
Was it over or under? Then it approves.
Over. If you roll
Over.
over,
Okay.
the number will go up by one.
All right. So my vigor and my prowess went up by 1, and my wit is still the
Give me
same.
a scene that shows me how Deirdre is actually improving herself.
I think killing a dragon does something to somebody. So that just like immediately, she's just training much more harder. She's just like really, really putting her all into her training because you never know what's after a dragon. Probably something bigger, and she's got to be ready. So lots of training. Prowess. She really did what she meant what she said about complimenting the attack on the Fife and how he defended it. So she's probably studying a little bit. She's like, you know what, bronze, a little bit of brain. So let me learn how to be a little bit more tactile in the future, maybe. So she's
Mhm.
reading a little bit more than usual.
Excellent. And Sir Lamorak, how did you go?
I got a 3 on my vigor, 12 on my prowess, and 1 on my wit. So the only one that's like affected is my prowess.
Okay, so what does that look like? That little scene where Sir Lamorak is improving. So prowess
Um,
is reason. It's also tactics, strategy, and precision with how you do things. It's speed as well.
okay, so Lamorak has been dedicating his time to helping Aisha with magical research. So he's gotten more knowledgeable about magic, but also at the same time, he's he started to make his hmm, I would say he started to get a little more tactical in the sense of how he grows his influence in the with the duchess, sorry, with the countess, and in court. So he's essentially gotten a lot more favors from other courtiers, those who have like he's charmed and impressed them, and like he's made allyships. They've exchanged, like he needs funding for to like bolster his bolster his castle, and make sure his lands are fed and everything. So he's essentially been trying to make his homestead, his fiefdom, his lands. He's made them stronger. He's used all
Excellent.
his. He's become a very well to know. He's become the man to know, the man to the man who can. The man who is trending. He's very trending right now.
Nice. Sounds great. So that's the end of a cycle of play for Night. I'll do our different shout outs for the outro now, and then we'll probably finish it up there. All right, so let me pull this one up. Okay, so first up, my name is Mark Barron. You can find me on at Mark Barron1 on X, and you can find me on Facebook at Mark Barron or at Armored Gaming. So let's just go through. So, Abhilasha, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Dr. underscore Ybone, or on Blue Sky at Ombre Lesbian Night. I am usually, I will respond to if you tag me in fun stuff like books, lesbians, and anything to do with about the 3 niche interests I have. I also post reviews on there, and when I play TTRPGs. So, come check me out. I'm fairly boring, but I sometimes do come out with bangers.
And the amazing Kendra.
Yeah, you can find me mostly on Instagram and TikTok. Kendra is lost, but I'm on every corner of the internet basically. Just Kendra is lost. So, yeah.
Excellent. And the incredible Caspar.
Osio, I'm Casper the NB Ghost. You can find me everywhere. At Casper DANB Ghost. Except for Twitter, which is Casper DNB Ghost. Um, and yeah, or I'm yeah, follow me for all the places that I'm on.
Excellent. So everyone, you can find my book Night. It will be available very shortly. The Kickstarter has finished. So I will be putting up Night if you are interested on Drive Through RPG within the next week or two. And that will be good from there. So reading out what else is going on with Nerds with Dice. The first one on Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern, is Masks, which is the puzzle project, returns for season 2. Join Knox and company for more exciting adventures. On Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, catch the final of Monster of the Week, The House That M Built. Keep out for the final of Apocalypse Keys, coming to YouTube soon. Check out YouTube for more adventures with Nerds with Dice. And if you have a story that you wish to tell or a game that you wish to showcase, our Creators app is always open and can be found on Twitter and Blue Sky, or ask for a link in our Discord. They'll let people know who they're rating in the chat tonight. Other than that, farewell, brave knights.